Hi, my name is Andrea. Ever since I started racing bikes in 2006, I've always looked for the next challenge, the next hardest thing. Earlier this year, I decided that would be the Tour Divide. This is my journey to get there. It won't always be your stereotypical feel good, inspirational story. I'm not always smiling. I can't even say if I'll make it to the start or not because sometimes life happens. What I can say is that if the impossible happens, if training goes perfectly, if the weather is just right, if all goes according to plan, it's going to be one hell of a race. Good morning. I love tomatoes. Just so everyone knows, this gray one right here, that's Connie. That's for Greg. He asked if I could name one of the chickens Connie. That one's Connie. Right there. You just push the button. It starts.
What we have today is a mini truckload full of gravel.
I really got to get into my base training program from Linda, and I really enjoy it because she gives me the option to do other things besides riding a bike, because it's not always, well, I won't say it's not always possible, but sometimes it is more convenient to do other activities that are not riding because of weather or time or whatever. So she had put on my schedule to do moto rides with Matt on Thursdays because that's what I've been doing during my break. Matt and I have the same day off on Thursdays, and so we've just been going for dirt bike rides. You could probably call us fair weather dirt bikers because we like going out when it's warm and when it's nice and having a good time. But of course, as soon as Linda put that into my training program, the weather got pretty cold. The high country has gotten a few inches of snow that's sticking around. And we just kind of decided we weren't going to do moto rides anymore. Along with that, we had been put on pre-evacuation because of a wildfire nearby, and our motorcycles were stored at a friend's house, making it just a little bit less convenient to get to them. Anyway, so we decided we were going to finish up some yard projects that involved heavy manual labor. There was a post on our local Salida Swap Facebook page for free gravel, and if anyone was following along on Instagram last summer, you would have seen the wall that I built, the retaining wall I built behind our house, and I'd been procrastinating on finishing it because I really didn't want to buy the gravel to put at the top of the wall. But luckily, someone was giving away some free landscape gravel. It's really nice stuff, and we picked up several truckloads of it, finished the wall, and then we proceeded to put in a couple more small walls and do some rock work in our side yard in the dog area. So that was really difficult. That was my Thursday activity that I did instead of going for a moto ride. Our property, the property here is on a slope, so it does take a fair bit of erosion control. Along with that, I rode with Sarah Sheets on Saturday, and if any of you remember the last Breck Epic that I did in 2015, she and I had a pretty intense race with each other. I think that's putting it mildly. We basically tried to kill each other for several days, and that was one of the hardest things that I've done. But we came out on the other end with, good mutual respect for each other, pretty good friends. And we rode once up in the high country several weeks ago, and then I wanted to go on another ride where I wanted someone with me, which is pretty rare for me. I usually like riding solo, but this involved a high country trail called Green Timber Gulch. And it is, if I can compare some parts of it to a trail that more people might recognize, if you know the final drop down off of the Portal Trail in Moab, there are sections of it that are very much like that. So extraordinarily rugged and very far into the backcountry. So I wanted someone to go with me. I asked her because I know that she is not going to be a liability and is one of the few people that I know I can ride with and say that about. So she's awesome. And unfortunately, we got about a third of the way up the first climb to get up above tree line and ran into a bunch of snow and ice. So change of plan, we rode back down and rode some of the Colorado Trail by Mount Princeton, between Mount Princeton and Browns Creek, and it was gorgeous. However, I left my GoPro in Matt's truck. I left my phone in my car while we rode and didn't realize it until we were already probably 20 minutes into climbing away from the car. So didn't go back and get it. You just have to take my word for it. It was pretty freaking awesome. "32 weeks out from Tour Divide 2020 was slightly more structured just because I didn't have the ride with Sarah at the end of the week. I went to the gym a couple more times. I'm a little torn on my gym situation. There is a CrossFit gym in Salida that I really like because they have great equipment and they offer a 24-hour access membership for $75 a month. But coaching paired with that, paired with reduced winter hours at the shop, I just don't know if I can pull it off financially. It'll be a little bit of a strain. But went to the gym. We got more snow, and that's all right. So I took Taco out for a hike in the snow as my Thursday kind of cross-training activity. Last week it was the rock work. This week, hiking in the snow. Several inches, probably 5 or 6 inches of just very powdery snow, and it was kind of hard. It was fun. Yesterday, because it was so cold when I got up in the morning, I did a bunch of meal prep. I just cooked a bunch of food, made some soup, made some meatballs, made some lentil dal, which is really, really tasty. And I ate enough while I was cooking it that when I went for a ride later in the day, I was sweating turmeric, which was kind of confusing at first, but then I figured it out after that. Some of the riding in Howard is really, really beautiful, and you can see in this video, just the cow to human ratio was very high on this ride, and that makes me very happy because it just means I just like living in a place where there aren't a ton of people. The highlight of my week, though, outside of training, was I got to meet Lael Wilcox. Well, I got to meet her for a second time. She came through town to screen her new movie about her Tour Divide experience that was unnecessarily controversial. And it was ridiculous. You know, people on the internet, armchair writers, are just bitching that she was going to have a film crew following her around, and the film crew included one of her loved ones. These are the same people that would roll into the shop if they were bikepacking. They'd be on FaceTime using our Wi-Fi, talking to their loved ones, putting all of their shit on social media and, communicating with people that way and just staying really connected throughout the whole experience. And those same people are criticizing Lael Wilcox about this, and that was total bullshit, in my opinion. But anyway, I got to talk to Lael. I got to see her movie. Watching the movie, shit really gets real quick just because, you get to just start looking at things along the route and be like, damn, I'm going to be there in less than a year, I got to pick Lael's brain about her bike setup. She had her bike there, and I looked through it and asked her tons and tons of questions, and she's totally just kind of like, ask me everything. You can ask me anything, anytime, and I hope that it helps you come out and beat me. And she didn't mean it as in like a, come at me, bro kind of way. She meant it the same way that I feel about Vapor Trail. And I'm really sad that Vapor Trail doesn't exist anymore because I set a record on that course, and then immediately the race was done with after that year. So I think she'd feel the same way, if Tour Divide stopped being a thing. right now, she would be really upset that no one could come out and try to get, try to take her record away from her. So I really have a lot of respect for her for that. I told her, said, I hope I can train hard enough for us to have a really good race. And then we high fived, and I can't wait. I hope I can get there. I hope I can be that strong. It's going to be tough as a rookie. There are tons and tons of variables that can happen. Anything can happen. So I'm not hinging my existence on that goal. Whatever happens, happens. And all I can do is just do my best and try to have a really good training up to the race and then have a really good race. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too.